HeyImAmethyst here. For those who are returning, welcome back to another video on my channel. And for those who are new here, welcome. I thought in the meantime, while I'm still trying to create the C and C++ tutorial as well as the 3DS homebrew tutorial, I thought that I would, post some videos in the meantime to like some yap sessions of some topics that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I'm still working on the tutorial. I am still thinking of or planning on doing the tutorial. It's just it takes a lot of work trying to create a tutorial, one that's like clear and easy to understand, not to mention the fact that I'm still trying to learn the language while I'm doing so, so just please be patient. I am still making the tutorial. It's taking a long time. So in today's video, I thought I would talk about something cool that I did last night, at least at this time of this recording. Last night or yesterday, because a week or prior, I bought myself a Samsung tablet. And there was a reason why I bought a Samsung tablet. So I wanted a tablet that I could use to take notes and stuff like that, mainly to take notes. Um, and the tablet that I got initially for this task was this iPad, right? And at the time, I was like, um, the iPad has the Apple Pencil and it has all these cool note-taking apps and everything. And the reason why I decided to get an iPad was, for school purposes. I was using this to take notes, for like during my classes and everything. And I thought it would, be, really useful. And to be honest, I hate using this thing. Like, ever since I bought it, the most I have used this tablet was taking notes when I'm not up like for school. Like, um, fall semester is going to start in September, at least for my college, right? But since when I'm not in class, I don't use this thing. Like, classes are over, I haven't used this thing. I barely used it. The only time I've used this was to like play. Oh, I need to charge this. I've mostly been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. I've been playing Cat Soup on here. I've had some other games installed on here, for my sister to play, my younger sister to play on it. But I hate using this thing. I have had beef with Apple products since I was a child. Like, my hatred for Apple products has been for years now. And it all started, and one of the main reasons as to why I hate Apple products is because of how locked down it is, like the whole system is. And I've hated this thing since I first got, the iPhone 4, I think, or 4S or whatever it was like one of the smaller ones, right? It was my mom's, and she got a new phone and she gave it to me. And at the time, I was really into Minecraft, right? And so when I was able to get Minecraft on that tiny little phone, right? And when I found out about texture packs and stuff like that, I, at the time when, for like Minecraft Pocket Edition, you couldn't, because like that, the phone at the time, right? You couldn't really access the file system and you couldn't really do it the same way you would on Android, right? And so, in order for me to like install texture packs and stuff like that, I would either have to use iTunes or jailbreak the phone. And considering that I was a young teenager and I didn't have access at the time, I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, like I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't want to jailbreak the phone because I didn't know how to do it. And it's not like I had my own personal computer where I can mess around with stuff, right? So, um, Yeah, like I hated that thing, right? And when I finally got an Android, I felt so liberated, right? So since I was very young, I did not like Apple products because of how restrictive and locked down they were. And it still holds true today. um and while I'm glad that I've got this and I'm able to like move around files and stuff like that, I cannot upgrade the storage on this thing. 54 out of 64 gigabytes I already used on this thing. And I can't upgrade the storage. And this thing costs $600. $600 and I had to get it on credit and I hated that. Um so yeah, it was really annoying. I hated it. I couldn't really do what I really wanted on this thing because of the limited space and I couldn't upgrade it. Not to mention the fact that, some Android apps that I wish that I had on my tablets, I couldn't get on my iPad, and some iPad stuff, like iPad apps that I really would rather have on my tablet, I can't because they don't exist on Android. So eventually I became sick and tired of this thing and I just stopped using it less and less. Like, it's still useful because of some of the apps that don't exist on Android devices like Vroid. Um, but I really don't like using this thing because it's such a pain in the ass to um transfer files to and from my Android devices and also to my laptop too. So I'm still trying to transfer some stuff from my iPad onto my Samsung tablet. And I have to find an app that will allow me to import the whole folder instead of individual files. So I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. Um, in the meantime, while after getting my iPad like months later, I ended up getting this Doji tablet. And I haven't heard of the brand before. The only reason why I got it was because of the amount of space the base tablet comes with. So, if I were to show you like the storage on this thing, I don't know if you can see that, but um the base model, right? This is the Doji T40, and the T40 comes with 512 gigabytes, and that's a crap ton of storage. And it only costs like $250, so it didn't cost like $700 for this tablet. And from the reviews, it seems like the processor is decent too. Like, you can play some games on it. From using this, the months that I've used this, just haven't lagged out or anything, which is really nice. And I've decided that I was going to use this as my artist tablet, like my tablet to like make art on. I want to get rid of this widget. Um, I want to get rid of this widget and this Google widget, and I can't. Um, But yeah, I did make like a blog post on my website talking about, this talking about like using this tablet. I think I mainly mentioned it because I ended up buying the XP pen um drawing, like, a XP pen like drawing tablet with it, because while I like that this has a lot of storage, the touch, like, the pen support isn't that great. Like, if you, I believe I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but if you were just using Ibis Paint X with like a regular old stylus, like, you don't there's nothing there isn't really a problem with it, because Ibis Paint X is built it was made in a way where you are able to use your finger or a regular Android stylus. Um, and the way that it's built is that, with the pen settings, you can change it. It's like it's not reliant on pen pressure, which I really like. Um, and the touch input is not so like sensitive. right? So I didn't really have a problem using this app on this tablet. However, when trying to move all away from Google and being dependent on Google and stuff like that, I realized that this app was kind of holding me back because of the lack of, like the lack of, I already mentioned this in my, I believe, my privacy video, but when you save like the project files aren't really saved to your device in the way that they would be on like a laptop or a computer. If you wanted to make sure your stuff is backed up, like, you would either have to rely on the cloud, which I would recommend that you guys don't be so dependent on cloud services, because you're essentially storing your stuff on another person's computer. And if the cloud goes down, then you're kind of fucked. But also, um, it's not like, if you want to save like the project file itself and not just the photo, you would have to save you would have to go in and like export it out into a Photoshop file or like an IBS Paint artwork file. Um, and it doesn't update. Once you save the file, like, it only captures what is currently in that file. Like, it doesn't automatically update when you save it like you would in like Krita on Android or something like that. So yeah, that was the main reason why decided that I wasn't going to use IBIS Paint anymore, because I've lost collections of artwork because I wasn't able to properly, store my files. Like, they were stuck in the app essentially if I didn't individually export all of the um, project files. So I was like, IBS Paint has served me well, but I think it's time to find a better app. And that's when I decided to move on to Krita. And actually, this will take a bit to load. And Krita on Android works similarly to the the desktop version. I mean, they're essentially the same the same app. And what I like about Krita is that, you're able to use keyboard shortcuts in the Android app. So when I got, this the XP pen, like this XP pen tablet, I'm drawing a blank as to what model it is. I'll put it up on screen in editing. But when was able to like when using this pen, like this strong tablet with the Doji tablet, it worked pretty fine. Like, you're not able to change the keybinds of the express keys within the Android app. I actually um don't really like the way that the Android app kind of like the configurations on there, because the whole point of why I got this drawing tablet was so that I can use the whole surface area, because I did have a Wacom Intuos draw, and that's pretty tiny. It still works. I've had it since I decided to start digital art. It's lasted me for years, but it's pretty small. So like, the whole point why I got this tablet was a bigger surface area, and the app, it kind of limits that surface area, so I don't really launch it and use it. And for the express keys, right, when I first um tried using it with Krita, like, some of the express keys are blank. They don't have any keyboard shortcuts attached to it. So I had to go what I ended up doing was I had to download the tablet the app for configuring this tablet on my laptop. And it didn't really, and I had to like change the express keys on there, but it doesn't really save. It doesn't, like, the configurations that I save on the desktop version, it doesn't really save and keep those configurations for when you're using it on Android devices, or um but it did assign some sort of keybind to the blank express keys on this tablet. So then what I then did was then I went into Krita, I went into the settings and kind of changed the shortcut keys. So then I was able to like move around, move the canvas around, save, bring up the pop-up, like the palette pop-up thing where you save all your favorite brushes and stuff. I was able to do that um using these express keys, and I wouldn't have to like bring my hand to the screen and just move around with that. I was able to get like a similar experience where I would be like hands-free on my laptop or on a desktop. I would have that same experience on an Android tablet, which is really fun and nice. I wouldn't have to like be in an awkward position. I could just control everything using the tablet, and I wouldn't have to continuously touch the screen. And it worked for drawing, and I think people recommend, some artists recommend that it's good that you get like a screenless drawing tablet so that you don't develop a bad posture. And that's pretty nice. Um, However, this tablet doesn't really work well for note-taking apps. Um, like it does, like some of the express keys work on like IBIS Paint. You're not really able to like change the hotkeys, but at least they work. But for the note-taking apps, the only thing that works is writing with the stylus and, selecting the items and stuff like that. And that was pretty annoying because, again, I would have to constantly touch the screen. I would be in a weird position, and I didn't particularly like that. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. I can deal with it. But then I realized, what about school? If I wanted to use this to take notes in class, like, this is kind of a bit inconvenient. The desks, at least at my college, the desks aren't that big. And I don't want to have this tablet plus this whole thing taking up so much space on the desk. And so I was like, okay, well, this will be fine for drawing, but for note taking, this is going to be a pain in the ass. So I was like, okay, but then what do I do? Because all of the Android tablets that have, proper pen support right out of the box, like they come with pens and everything like that, they're like hella expensive. Like, so I was like, well, what the heck do I do then? That's when I tried looking and researching to see, what is the cheapest tablet that I can get that comes with like a stylus and it works well with the tablet, right? There was one tablet that I saw recommended, and it was the Lenovo Idea Tab. However, I didn't get it because, at least because I was looking on eBay, right? I didn't want to buy from like Amazon because I'm sure they're overpriced there and stuff like that. I was looking on eBay because I was like, it would be nice if I can just get this secondhand and not buy something new, at least to get something and everything not directly supporting Amazon or like the company. Like, I'd rather get it secondhand from somebody who may not need it anymore. But like, I found one and it seems like it wasn't really opened, right? But in the box art, right, it had AI advertising on the box, like AI powered smart learning, that was advertised on the box. And I was like, you know what, never fucking mind. So I decided that I wasn't going to get that one. And while I was doing some more research, I came across Brad Colbow's like review of the Samsung Galaxy um the Samsung Galaxy tablet, like the Tab S6 Lite. And I was like, and he pretty much says that it was like a really good tablet, like inexpensive, cheap budget tablet that, artists can use, like beginner artists can use to like get started. And I was like, it has a stylus, it's an Android tablet, I could probably just use this for note taking. And so I looked into it, right? And I watched his review. I also decided to get like this 𝗟𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀 tablet from one of his reviews as well. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'll get this tablet, because it seemed like a good deal, and I am really happy that I got this tablet. But I watched his review, I did some more research and everything, and I was like, okay, this seems promising, right? But then I was like, but I don't exactly want, like, I want a tablet that I could take notes on, but then that would mean that I would essentially have another Google, like another device where Google is just forcefully inserting itself into like everything, and I would have a whole bunch of broke bloatware, and I would have to yet again put in my Google, I have my Google account attached to another device, and I was like, I'm not sure. I'm kind of hesitant on getting yet another Android device fully infected with Google. So I was like, okay, this seems like it could be a popular tablet, right? I was like, can I install a custom OS on it? And lo and behold, I found that Lineage OS, there's like, I can install Lineage OS on it. And so I looked online, I saw a tutorial, and the Lineage OS, like at least on the website, right? It supported, from the list of devices, there was one build that supported the 2020 version and another build that supported the 2024 version. But not the 2022 version, which I ended up getting, which was kind of odd. But, you know, from looking at the tutorial, I realized that they were using the unofficial version, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can just use the unofficial version, it seems to work, right? But I was also still a little bit hesitant because, you know, yeah, like, it would be nice, it would be cool to install this custom OS, but would the S Pen work properly with it? Like, I didn't want to install the OS and then realize that too late that the stylus doesn't work on it, and you know, I'm kind of, and then be screwed. So I did some research, and from looking at the forums and stuff, right, it's like people were saying that the pen worked fine. There were some reports where like it would stop working, but it seems for the most part like it worked fine. Right? So then I looked at the updated version of the unofficial build for this specific tablet that I got, and at least from the list of stuff, the list of working stuff, it included the S Pen. So I was like, okay, alright, I'll follow the tutorial that I found. I'm convinced I'll follow the tutorial that I found, and hopefully things work out. And I'll link the tutorial down in the description below, in case anybody wants to figure out how to install Lineage OS for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. That is a mouthful. I also link like the official page where you would need to, like, the official like forum where you can download everything. It also has like its own tutorial on there. The tutorial that I watched was for like an older version of the unofficial build, but most of the steps are pretty much the same. There was one part though where you would need to like do a factory reset, but at least on the video, um, at least from the tutorial that the person was reading from in that video, it didn't say to do a factory reset, but they did it afterward. Um, but in the tutorial, the one that I read for the updated version, it did include that at the correct point. So if you do end up watching the video tutorial, just make sure that that you're following along with the written tutorial and making sure that things line up. It's just that one change where it didn't mention the factory reset in the old version, but it does in the new version. Just make sure you're doing that before you get to the part where you download the apps, like the G apps, because you can still install like Google apps on Lineage OS using Mind the G apps. It doesn't install all of Google's applications, just some of them. Which is better than nothing. And the reason why I decided that I wanted to download some Google apps on here is because there are some apps that I need for school that's only on the Google Play Store. And I don't want to not download Google Play services and then the app's not working. So like I need this essentially for school. I hate that I have to put Google back on here, even though the whole point was to de-Google the damn thing. But yeah, like so essentially before you get to the part where you have to download the G apps, just make sure that you're following that written tutorial to reset, to do the factory reset part, and then you do the next part. But anyway, I ended up installing it and everything. It didn't crash. I didn't end up breaking the tablet, which is amazing. And so, even though I was able to get the information from forums, I didn't really see a lot of, video tutorials or video showcases on YouTube showing what it's like using Lineage OS for this specific tablet. I did see a video from years ago that was in like another language, and they showed the functionality of the S Pen. But I thought I would just make this video kind of like showing you what I'll showing you this tablet and everything. Hello everyone. So this is my second time recording this portion of the video where I'm showing off my Galaxy tablet. Like when I did the first recording, because I was doing it at night, the lighting wasn't exactly that great, and because like I got a slightly better question mark webcam, but it seems like it's only good when I have a good enough light source, I guess, because I mean, if I put it here, like you can see how bright the tablet is. Like even when I have this light on, it's like the tablet is still so bright. So I decided that I was going to install like a video, like a screen recording thing, a screen sharing thing on this tablet so that I can just capture the footage of the screen. So I thought not only would I do like a screen recording of like the tablet, but I would also like do like a top-down recording from my webcam so that you can see it from both perspectives, and you can also see me like using like actually seeing me using the S Pen. So yeah, this is the tablet. I have Lineage OS installed on this. Yeah, if I were to go to the About phone, you can see Lineage is installed on here, and I have Android 16. So yeah, all of it's installed and everything. Um, and it was quite successful. I did install the same wallpaper on here as I do with my other devices because I really do like this wallpaper a lot. I might change it, a little bit, just to like switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I thought that I would kind of like showcase me using this tablet like just a little bit, because there wasn't really a lot of videos that I found. Like there was a lot of forums saying of others' experiences using the tablet and how things work, but not really a lot of YouTube videos. So I thought I would just do one and show you myself. So this is what the icons look like on Lineage OS. I also installed like my browsers. This one is the default browser that it comes with, and then I have 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗀𝘀, and then Ironfox, and then I have this called Float Browser. the reason why I installed this one is because, because one of the note-taking apps that I've downloaded, Free Notes, I could probably just open it up. Oh yeah, the checking, I'll just skip that. If I go into one of the notes, it gives you an option to like have a browser while you're taking notes, which I thought was like really amazing. So I thought that I would, um, kind of, install that, but for Kilo Notes, because Kilo Notes doesn't have that functionality, and I thought it would be pretty nice to just have that. Like as you can see, there's no option to have that. I don't think GoodNotes has that option either. So if I were to go into Float Browser, yeah, it does have ads though, which is quite annoying. But so as you can see, I installed this because I really wanted to be able to browse while note taking, and yes, I could do like the split screen thing, but like I limited surface area. That's like my surface area to write is just reduced. So yeah, I made sure to add start page on here. So that way I can use start page. I don't know if I've downloaded the start page mobile app on here. I don't know if I did. Yeah, I that's why I have that there. Um so, and speaking of like the note taking apps, um on my iPad I was using GoodNotes because that's kind of like the first one that I got recommended to, and I ended up buying it, and it served me well while I was in my previous semesters, like using note taking, using that to take my notes in class. um but I just do not like the fact, I just don't like using the iPad, and because I don't really have a lot of it doesn't really have a lot of space on there, and I can't eh, upgrade the space on there the way I would on Android with an SD card. It was like, you know what? I might as well just, use an Android instead. So, I believe with because I bought GoodNotes on the App Store, the Apple App Store, and not on the Google Play Store. I would probably have to purchase it again, and I kind of don't want to do that. So I tried searching up alternatives to see what could serve as a substitute, because I don't really like the fact that I would have to purchase the app again. Um, but it seems like all of the note-taking apps that are, recommended all seem to not be fully free. They all have subscriptions in order to have the full experience. And I think that's kind of ridiculous because, with free notes, I believe at one point for the free version, like the free tier, you could have unlimited notes. But now it's like the rest of the note-taking apps that was introduced, where you have a limited amount of notes that you can add before you're forced to pay, which I think is kind of bullshit, especially considering that, these types of apps are being recommended to like are supposed to be used for, they're like students. People in college are using these, and if you don't want to be spending money for no reason, like you're already taking out so much, like taking out loans and everything like that, I don't understand why there isn't like a completely free alternative that doesn't force you to have a subscription or to pay for stuff. Like you're already spending a lot of money on, you know school materials too. So I don't know. I think if there's like a truly free option out there, or at least an open source option out there, feel free to let me know. I know there are other note-taking apps are there out there. I've seen, was it Obsidian or something like that, but I believe it's only like text-based note taking, it seems like. And I want something like Good Notes, I want something like Free Notes, I want something like Kilo Notes where I'm able to like actually write down my notes and then have it be in the format like a notebook, like these. because I like I like doing my notes like this. So if there's a way to do that, I would like to do that. Um, but yeah, this is what at least the killer notes looks like. I'm going to create a new page, and I'll just oops. The palm rejection isn't the best on here. Like it's somewhat like it's because you're still like yeah, it's not completely the best on here. So if you don't have an artist glove, then you're kind of have to either lift this up on an angle or something, or you can just see if you can get like a washcloth, like a thick washcloth, and use that as a like a barrier between your palm and the screen. But I do have like my artist gloves in here. I believe with Brad Colbow's review of the Samsung Galaxy um Tab S6 Lite, um he did mention that the palm rejection isn't the best even when he had like an artist glove on. And normally I'd have that problem with other tablets too. Like it seems like one artist glove isn't exactly like enough to make sure that you don't accidentally get those additional marks on your screen when you're drawing from the pen, or just have it click on something that you don't want to be clicking on when you're trying to do something else. So I normally just layer. I just put two on. I don't remember where I got this glove from. I don't know if this is from my Picasso tab or if this was something I bought off of Amazon. But it has this little section here that's a little bit thicker. But having this on, like just this one alone, didn't seem to be enough. It was only my problem was solved when I put two on. So that's what kind of helped me a lot. But I don't really like using gloves because of sensory issues and how uncomfortable it feels and stuff like that. I mean, it's not totally, you know, um insufferable. Like it's not totally like it's manageable, at least for me. It's not a complete glove. I still have like space to move my hands and everything, but I still do not like having both of these on. So I tried to like I try I'm for me I mostly deal with it, which is not really um something you should do with your sensory issues. Don't just like put up with it. um that don't do what I'm doing. But I kind of just if it's either I have to be dealing with the annoyance of things clicking without me wanting to, or I have this on and I chose to just put this on. But if you can't stand wearing gloves, then try to see if you can get like a washcloth or something. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can get a washcloth to see if that would make a good substitute. Okay, so I have the washcloth, and if I like fold it, then yeah, I guess if you fold the washcloth, it should be alright. So if you can't stand having glove on, then you don't have to use this. I'll probably just end up doing this from now on because I hate wearing gloves. So yeah, as you can see, the pen works. If I go into free notes, it should be the same deal. So if I go into this notebook, if I select the pen, oops, as you can see, it works. Yep. Now, let me see. Would pressure sensitivity work on here? Yes, it does. So, as you can see, the pressure sensitivity, does work as well. So I'm like using like this fountain pen thing. Um, and and it also works with the pencil too. The pen nib on here feels super nice. It's kind of like a rubbery, instead of like hard and plasticky, like the Apple Pencil. Um, and I never really took mind either using. I never really mind using the Apple Pencil, um, because I guess I've kind of gotten used to it. I never really had a preference over like a rubber, like a textured, like using like drawing on a textured matte screen or with a glass screen. Um, I kind of because on my XP Pen like tablet that I have like the texture screen on there, and I don't mind using that on there. Um, I've but using this, like with this rubbery tip on the screen, is like a new sensation that I haven't felt before, and I kind of like it. Um, but I kind of don't really mind whether or not this if I have a texture screen protector or a glass one. I've kind of gotten used to it. But if you're somebody who's prefers to have like a textured um like screen or anything, you might have to go out and buy yourself a separate screen protector. Um, but yeah, I did test like the drawing apps on here to see if it worked well with like Lineage. Like you can see my other like test drawings in my other um that I did in my other recording. But I'll actually just go ahead and um go back into that file again. So as you can see, if I go to, was it this one? I don't know which one, because with IBIS Paint, it's the brushes were made so that it's not reliant on pressure sensitivity. Um, so but some of them do have settings for it, some of them don't. You can create your own pens and see how much you want the pressure sensitivity to affect it or not. But okay, so here's the pen that works. So as you can see, pressure sensitivity works with in IBS Paint. Um, like everything works. So um, you don't have to worry about pressure sensitivity not working, at least in IBS Paint, because that works. Yeah. So I'll also go back and look at 𝗏𝗀𝗀𝘀, because I also tested out 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, um and the pressure sensitivity works as well. Okay, so here's like my previous test that I did. Um, so yeah, so pressure sensitivity also works. Um, but because you'll have to configure this to work well on Android tablets. I'll link a tutorial that I used in the description before. Like I haven't set it up on my Doji tablet, um, but I haven't set it up on here. I probably won't set it up on here because this tablet is. I bought this tablet mainly to take notes on, not for art. Um, but I guess in the event that my Doji tablet spontaneously combusts, then I'll have a backup, I guess. But as you can see, the pressure sensitivity in 𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 also works. Let me see if I can grab the other. Yeah, so that works. I mean, a lot of the pens in 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 are reliant on pressure sensitivity though. So yeah, but good thing that this pen works. Like I said, pressure sensitivity on this pen works. So yeah, it works as expected in 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀. So in the process of trying to like move everything over from my iPad to this tablet, because before I was because one tutorial said to use Send Anywhere, but I couldn't, transport folders from my iPad. Like it wouldn't let me like transport like whole folders at once. So I tried seeing if there was like another solution, and I thought local send didn't exist on iPad, but it does. And pretty happy about that because I love using this. However, it kind of the folder sending functionality that that app has, like, it doesn't work as intended. So if you happen to own an iPad, like, you probably cannot see this that well, but this is my iPad, and this is local send. If you happen to have like local send on your iPad and you're struggling to get the folders to work, I tried looking on their GitHub, and I tried following. There was one person in the the issue on the GitHub page that said to like just put the folder in the local send folder, like the folder that you want to transfer into this folder, the local send folder, and then go into local send and do that. When I did that, I had to create this folder because it wasn't already created, and when I did the thing, that didn't work. However, when I then went back into local send and selected folder and then went to on my iPad and then local send, um, it seemed like it created an invisible server, like an invisible folder, and I had to just copy that folder I had to copy it in the file. I had to go into the Files app, right, copy that folder, then go into here, and then paste it in there, because that's what the suggestion said, and then I got it to work. But then I saw another suggestion say to completely turn that folder into a zip file. So they said to just, compress this, and then it'll be able to, like, take it. Which, it's a little bit annoying because, there wasn't anything, um, in in the app that pretty much told me to do that. I had to go searching on my own, and if you're somebody who doesn't normally look on GitHub or who doesn't normally look at stuff like that, you probably wouldn't know why it's not working as intended on the other platforms. And it's this bug or issue seems to have been a thing for like about 6 months, according to one person on the review page for this app. And I think there was one person in the GitHub issue that, you know, suggested a fix, but wasn't any like replies to that. Um, so yeah, I kind of, that is a bit annoying, so I just wanted to if anybody is using local send on their iPad, just either move your folder into the local send, like copy it in the files and then move it into the local send folder when you're planning on sending it over. Just like click folder and then go into local send and then hit like copy. Um, but then but what I kind of find a bit annoying is that it would if you like you would then it's like additional setup for something that should just work. And if you don't, and especially if you need to, if that doesn't work, if moving it into the local send folder doesn't work for you, um the only other option is to compress the folder. And if you don't have a lot of space on your iPad, then that can be another series of trying to figure out which files to delete, which to transfer over, and stuff like that. um I'm not sure if there was anybody who had already fixed this bug um as an unofficial update or something like that for this app or not. There was one person that like suggested a fix, and then I think they made their own like app file for it, but I wasn't able to download it. It seemed like the link like is broken, so I wasn't able to get that fix. Because I know there was someone else in a different, I think it was like a different, I don't know if it was in the same issue or if it was in another issue talking about the same problem, but it seems like another person was able to find different apps that was able to do what to like send complete folders over, which they didn't mention. I don't know what apps that they're talking about. I wish they would have dropped the names of it so that I would check those out as alternatives. But I was like losing my mind as to why stuff wasn't working on here because I didn't want to plug this into my laptop. But thankfully, I was able to get it to work after initial annoyance and setup to try and get it to work. But yeah, I'm still in the process of trying to move all my files over and everything. Um, but this is this is what I have for like good notes. Like this is like all of my notebooks and everything. Um, yeah, I'm still in the process of trying to move these things over. I mean, at least for the subscription, like the payments for Killer Notes, it doesn't seem like they're too expensive. Like the annual is $7.19. The quarterly is $3.99, and the lifetime, the one-time purchase is just $16.99, which isn't, I guess, too expensive. But still, if you still don't want to pay anything just to have basic note-taking capabilities, I feel like like I don't understand why pay for unlimited notes and to have unlimited notes. Like why do we have to pay for that? Why not have all the advanced features and things that you don't necessarily need but would like to have? Why can't that be additional paid features? Because they already have the store where they have all of these other like journal templates and stuff like that. Like you know and then on top of that, right, all of these note-taking apps that I've been recommended, like Killer Notes, Free Notes, Good Notes, they all have not the ads, man. There's like all these like note-taking apps, like either Good Notes, Free Notes, Killer Notes, some other note-taking apps I've seen. I can't remember the name of them, but they all seem to promote AI, which is really annoying. There wasn't anything I saw in the settings that would allow me to turn it off or to hide them. Like, with Good Notes, I think I'm able to hide the Good Notes one. I don't know. Let me double check. No. I'm not able to hide the AI features in Good Notes, and I don't think I have the option to turn them off. I don't believe. Let me see. Yeah, none of these note-taking apps, they don't give you the option to turn the AI off, which is completely annoying. Like, I would like to be able to turn these features off because I don't want them in my face or even in my field of vision when I'm note-taking. So that's another thing that I find really annoying. Um, So yeah, I feel like there should be a completely free option that would allow to have unlimited notes, um, no AI plastered in your face, like the ability to like have no AI or just like turn it off and have them be off by default, like, and then having all the basic capabilities that you would need to take notes, like have them be right there. Like, man, like even freaking ChatGPT is being advertised to be. Can I like completely stop seeing this ad? um, yeah. So, I might end up purchasing like the full version of Kilo Notes because, with Kilo Notes, I would be able to input like videos into my notes. I think it was similar to, was it Notability or some other note-taking app that gave me the ability to put like thumbnails of the notes and then have it play. Um but yeah, um I'll probably go for Killer Notes because I like the ability to like have like the videos in my notes and have them play instead of me having to go to a different website. Like I believe with GoodNotes and with like free notes, like I believe with free notes you have the ability to like list, like have a list of like video links. Um, and with GoodNotes you can create hyperlinks to videos. But I, with the fact that um, with everything going on with games being taken offline, with Sony announcing that they're gonna stop with making physical meat with stop making physical discs, and then you have mass censorship and everything like that. Um, I would rather have my own copies of the things that I need locally on my devices on my person instead of relying on an internet and relying on servers, because things could always get taken down, you know, whether it be because, the person hosting whatever file I need may not be there may not work anymore. Like, for whatever, for one reason or another, things will end up being taken offline eventually. And I'd rather have my copies of the videos and all the materials and notes that I need on my devices on an SD card that I'll be able to easily retrieve. So, yeah, I did download Notability. I was trying to test it out, but I was having trouble. I think with Notability it might work differently on Android than it does on iPad, because I tried Notability, I think, um on my iPad or some other note-taking app. I think it was Notability that had the ability to add in like my videos into notes, because like I was able to do it on my iPad, but I can't do it on Android for some reason. So I don't know. I'll probably uninstall this one because I don't think I need it right now. Um and yeah, with yeah, I mean, at least with Notability, the pressure sensitivity works on that too. Like, I didn't do anything extra on this. Um, so yeah, I think that's it for this showcase. I kind of wanted to come on here and yap for a little bit and kind of show off, me installing this device, like my Samsung Galaxy tablet, using Lineage OS, um, and stuff like that. I really do encourage, I highly recommend that if you are able to, like try and see if you can put a custom operating system onto your Android tablets, and try to de-Google them as much as you can. I unfortunately had to download like Google Play Store and Google Play services on my device because some of the apps that I need for school only exist on the Google Play Store, and I'm not sure if they will work without Google Play services. Like, I could use a Aurora Store, right? But if they require Google Play services to work, um, I would have to like download Google Play services anyway. And when I was following the tutorial on how to install the OS for the first time, I didn't want to skip anything. I didn't want to accidentally break anything. The guy in the tutorial I followed ended up downloading like the Google Play Store and Google Play services. So I kind of just like followed the tutorial and kind of just, did that just in case, I might need it later. I'm sure once I'm out of school, like I'm done and graduated, I probably won't need to have Google services on this device anymore, and I'll end up like uninstalling it. But for now, I will have to have Google on this device, which is a bit of a shame, but it's better than nothing. At least Google Photos isn't on this device. And if and for those who isn't aware, like Google Photos automatically backs up your photos, without you realizing it. And there are some people that you will have to go into the app to like turn that off. You can't turn it off in settings, which I think is kind of ridiculous. And also, there are some people that have turned that setting off, and it was still backing up their photos to Google Photos, which is ridiculous. And the other thing is, whenever they would go, I've seen others say that when they go into Google Folders to delete off a photo, to delete a photo from there, it would also delete it off of their device, which I think is also kind of ridiculous. Like, what's the whole point of having a cloud service if it's not completely disconnected from your device? Like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of a cloud service, is to, you know, make sure that your files are protected. But, you know, anyway, I would encourage y'all to not rely on cloud services too, because you're essentially putting all of your stuff on another person's computer, and if anything happens to that computer, then all of your data would be gone. So I would rather you guys get yourselves like some external storage if you can. I know they're like really expensive right now. If you have any old hard drives or thumb drives, try to see if you can use those and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can purchase a Motorola Edge 5G, because I've seen that Lineage OS. There's like an official version for that device. I'm hoping to get two of them. One that I can use to transfer my SIM card over, and another to just have everything else on there. Um, I'm not sure. I haven't exactly checked to see if SIM cards worked for Lineage OS. I could probably check that out right quick.
A few moments later.
It seems like a couple of years ago, people have been having issues with their SIM cards. I guess it depends on certain carriers. I guess it is fixed now with Lineage OS 23. But I guess I wouldn't know unless I do it myself and test it out myself to see if it works for me. But yeah, hopefully it would work. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a new phone either next week at the time of this recording, and seeing if I can like transfer all of that information over, and then I can see if I can get another phone and transfer everything else onto that. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I had fun installing Lineage OS on here. It's really nice not having all the random apps installed on here. And everything. I can't wait to do it on the new phone that I'm planning on getting to. But yeah, if you want more whimsiness and more stuff from me, I do have my own website, which will be linked in the description below. I also have an Etsy shop. If you're interested in anything that I'm making and selling on there, it's also in the description. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your time zone, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.